In the heart of a dense forest, there lived a young monk named Akio. Renouncing the distractions of the world, Akio devoted himself to the practice of mindfulness, seeking to find peace and enlightenment amidst the chaos of life. One day, as Akio walked along a narrow path through the forest, he stumbled upon a fearsome tiger trapped in a deep pit, its growls echoing through the trees. Moved by compassion, Akio approached the pit and gazed down at the majestic creature, its golden eyes filled with rage and desperation. Without hesitation, Akio reached into his bag and pulled out a ripe strawberry, its crimson flesh glistening in the sunlight. Holding the strawberry out to the tiger, he whispered a silent prayer for its well-being. To his surprise, the tiger stopped its snarling and sniffed at the fruit with cautious curiosity. Slowly, it reached out a paw and plucked the strawberry from Akio's hand, its fierce expression softening into one of gratitude. As Akio watched the tiger savor the sweetness of the strawberry, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. In that moment, he realized the true power of mindfulness, the ability to be fully present in each moment, regardless of circumstances. For Akio, the tiger and the strawberry became a powerful reminder of the impermanence of life and the importance of cherishing each moment as it arose. No matter the challenges or obstacles he faced, Akio vowed to approach each situation with mindfulness and compassion, knowing that true peace could be found in the simple act of being fully present. In a sun-dappled corner of the forest, there lived a weaving spider named Arachna. With nimble legs and deft hands, she spun intricate webs that shimmered like silver threads in the morning light. Day after day, Arachna diligently crafted her masterpieces, each one a testament to her patience and perseverance. Yet, despite her skill, Arachna often found herself longing for something more. She dreamed of weaving the grandest web the forest had ever seen, one that would span from tree to tree and capture the sunlight in its gossamer strands. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Arachna's dream remained just out of reach. No matter how hard she worked or how tirelessly she spun, her web always seemed to fall short of her vision. Frustrated and disheartened, Arachna began to lose hope. She watched as other creatures of the forest went about their lives with ease, achieving their goals with seemingly little effort. Why, she wondered, did her dream elude her despite her best efforts? One day, as Arachna sat amidst the leaves, feeling the weight of disappointment pressing down upon her, she felt a gentle tap upon her shoulder. Startled, she turned to see a wise old owl perched upon a nearby branch, its eyes sparkling with wisdom. "Patience, young Arachna," the owl said, its voice as soothing as a summer breeze. "Great things take time to achieve, and true mastery is born of diligence and perseverance." Arachna listened intently as the owl spoke of the importance of patience and determination in the pursuit of one's goals. She realized that her frustration had blinded her to the progress she had already made, and that true success lay not in the destination, but in the journey itself. With renewed determination, Arachna set to work once more, spinning her webs with a newfound sense of purpose. Day after day, she toiled tirelessly, never losing sight of her dream, but learning to find joy in the process of creation. And then, one crisp autumn morning, as the forest bathed in golden light, Arachna stepped back to admire her latest creation. To her astonishment and delight, she beheld a web more magnificent than she had ever dared to imagine, spanning from tree to tree and capturing the sunlight in its shimmering strands. In that moment, Arachna realized that her dream had not eluded her after all, but had been waiting patiently for her to discover it within herself. And as she basked in the glow of her achievement, she knew that no goal was beyond reach for those who possess the patience and perseverance to pursue it. In the kingdom of serenity, where the azure waters kissed the golden shores, there dwelled a young mermaid named Azure. Azure was known throughout the kingdom for her curiosity and her deep connection to the ocean. One day, as she swam through the crystal clear waters, Azure encountered an old sea turtle named Tidekeeper. The wise turtle had spent centuries traversing the depths of the ocean, and his shell bore the marks of countless journeys. "Hello, young one," Tidekeeper greeted Azure with a twinkle in his ancient eyes. "What brings you to these depths?" Azure swirled gracefully around Tidekeeper, her fins shimmering in the sunlight. "I seek to understand the vastness of the ocean," she replied, "and to learn the secrets it holds." Tidekeeper nodded knowingly. "The ocean is indeed vast, my dear, but its true depth lies beyond the transient waves of thought." Intrigued, Azure listened intently as Tidekeeper shared his wisdom. He spoke of the ocean as a metaphor for the vastness of awareness, and how the waves on the surface represented the fleeting thoughts and emotions that clouded the mind. To truly understand the ocean, Tidekeeper explained, one must learn to dive beneath the surface, to the depths where stillness reigns and awareness expands infinitely. Determined to explore this deeper realm of consciousness, Azure embarked on a journey of inner discovery. With each breath, she sank deeper into the ocean of awareness, leaving behind the tumultuous waves of thought. In the silence of the deep, Azure found a sense of peace unlike any she had known before. She felt a profound connection to all living beings, transcending the boundaries of time and space. As Azure emerged from her deep meditation, she realized that the vastness of the ocean was not separate from her own consciousness, but an integral part of her being. She carried the wisdom of Tidekeeper within her heart, knowing that true serenity lay in the boundless depths of awareness beyond the transient waves of thought. And so, with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose, Azure swam through the ocean of life, guided by the eternal breath of the ocean and the boundless depths of awareness that lay within. In a distant land where the golden light of dawn painted the sky with hues of hope and promise, there existed a tale as timeless as the stars themselves, the story of the compassion of the Bodhisattva. It spoke of the boundless love and compassion that transcended all boundaries, lighting the way for those lost in the darkness of suffering. In this land, there lived a humble monk named Jinwei, whose heart overflowed with kindness and compassion for all living beings. He walked the earth with a gentle smile upon his lips and a twinkle of understanding in his eyes, offering solace and comfort to those in need. One day, as Jinwei journeyed through a bustling city teeming with life, he came upon a beggar huddled in the shadows, his face worn with weariness and his eyes empty of hope. Without hesitation, Jinwei approached the beggar, offering him a kind word and a warm meal from his own meager provisions. But as Jinwei sat with the beggar and listened to his tale of hardship and despair, he realized that a single act of kindness was not enough to ease the suffering that weighed heavy upon the man's heart. And so, with a heart full of compassion, Jinwei made a solemn vow to devote himself to the service of others, to alleviate the pain and suffering of all beings, no matter the cost. From that day forward, Jinwei embarked on a journey of selfless service, traveling far and wide to offer comfort and aid to those in need. He tended to the sick and the elderly, offering them solace in their final moments. He fed the hungry and clothed the naked, providing for their physical needs with unwavering generosity. But perhaps most importantly, Jinwei offered the gift of compassion, the gentle reminder that no matter how dark the night may seem, there is always a glimmer of light waiting to illuminate the path ahead. He listened to the stories of those who had been cast aside by society, offering them a shoulder to lean on and a hand to hold in their time of need. And as Jinwei walked the earth, his compassion knew no bounds, transcending the barriers of language and culture to touch the hearts of all who crossed his path. For he understood that true compassion is not merely a matter of offering charity or assistance, but of recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every living being, regardless of their station in life. And so, in the light of dawn and the shadows of dusk, Jinwei continued his journey, spreading love and compassion wherever he went, his heart forever bound to the boundless love of the Bodhisattva, the embodiment of compassion and grace in a world in desperate need of healing. In a bustling city where the streets hummed with the symphony of life, there lived a humble beggar named Dao, with weathered hands and a heart heavy with the burdens of poverty. Dao wandered the streets, his eyes filled with longing for a life beyond his meager existence. Despite his hardships, Dao possessed a spirit of gratitude that shone like a beacon in the darkness of his circumstances. Each day, he gave thanks for the simple gifts that came his way: a kind word from a passerby, a crust of bread from a generous soul, a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. One chilly morning, as Dao sat huddled beneath the shadow of a crumbling building, a young girl approached him, her eyes alight with curiosity and compassion. Without a word, she placed a small wooden bowl filled with steaming rice in front of him, a gesture of kindness that touched Dao's heart like a ray of sunshine piercing the fog of despair. Grateful for her generosity, Dao bowed his head in thanks, his heart overflowing with gratitude for the simple gift that had been bestowed upon him. And as he savored each mouthful of rice, he felt a sense of warmth spread through his body, not just from the food that filled his belly, but from the kindness that had touched his soul. From that day forth, Dao carried the memory of the young girl's generosity with him like a precious treasure, a reminder of the power of gratitude to transform even the bleakest of circumstances. And as he wandered the streets of the city, he shared his simple gifts with those in need, passing on the kindness that had been bestowed upon him with each act of generosity. For in a world filled with want and scarcity, Dao stood as a beacon of gratitude, a living testament to the power of appreciation and the generosity of others. And though his pockets may be empty and his belly may growl with hunger, his spirit remained rich with the abundance of gratitude, a treasure far more precious than gold. In a quaint village nestled amidst rolling hills and lush meadows, there lived a young sparrow named Sparrowina. She was known throughout the village for her boundless energy and her love for adventure. One crisp morning, as the sun painted the sky in shades of gold and amber, Sparrowina spread her wings and took flight, her heart filled with excitement and anticipation. She soared through the azure sky, reveling in the feeling of freedom that enveloped her. As she flew higher and higher, Sparrowina noticed a flock of birds soaring gracefully overhead. Intrigued by their synchronized movements, she decided to join them, weaving and darting through the air with effortless grace. But as Sparrowina attempted to mimic the movements of the flock, she felt a sense of constraint creeping into her wings. Try as she might, she couldn't shake the feeling of being confined by the rigid formations and predetermined paths of the flock. Frustrated and disheartened, Sparrowina broke away from the flock and descended to the earth below. As she landed amidst a field of wildflowers, she closed her eyes and listened to the gentle rustle of the wind through the grass. In that moment of stillness, Sparrowina realized that true freedom lay not in conforming to the patterns of others, but in embracing the spontaneity and natural flow of life. With a renewed sense of purpose, she spread her wings once more and took flight, guided by the whisper of the wind and the rhythm of her own heart. As Sparrowina soared through the sky, she danced with the clouds and sang with the stars, reveling in the boundless expanse of the world around her. She embraced each moment with open wings and an open heart, knowing that the truest form of freedom could be found in the simple act of embracing the natural flow of life. And so, with each beat of her wings and each breath of the wind, Sparrowina embraced the flight of the sparrow, a symbol of freedom and spontaneity in the boundless expanse of the sky. In a land where forests stretched as far as the eye could see, there stood a magnificent oak tree, its sturdy branches reaching towards the heavens like outstretched arms. This oak, older than memory itself, was known throughout the land for its wisdom and resilience in the face of life's trials. Legend spoke of the oak's journey, how it had weathered countless storms and stood tall against the tests of time. Its roots ran deep, anchoring it to the earth and giving it the strength to withstand even the fiercest winds. One day, a young sapling named Emmy found herself drawn to the shade of the mighty oak. As she gazed up at its towering form, she felt a sense of awe wash over her, as if she were in the presence of something sacred. In that moment, Emmy knew that she wanted to learn from the oak, to understand the secrets of its strength and resilience. And so, she sat at the foot of the tree, listening to the whisper of the wind through its leaves and the creaking of its branches as they swayed in the breeze. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Emiya watched as the oak faced its own trials. Storms raged overhead, threatening to uproot it from the earth, yet still it stood firm, bending but never breaking in the face of adversity. Inspired by the oak's unwavering resolve, Emiya began to cultivate her own strength and resilience. She faced her fears head-on, knowing that like the oak, she had the power to overcome any obstacle that stood in her way. And as the years passed, Emiya grew into a strong and resilient woman, her spirit as unyielding as the mighty oak that had guided her on her journey. And though the winds of change continued to blow, she faced them with courage and grace, knowing that with the wisdom of the oak in her heart, she could weather any storm that came her way. In a tranquil forest where sunlight filtered through the canopy, there lived a young girl named Lily, who had always been captivated by the beauty of nature. Her heart danced with joy at the sight of colorful flowers, babbling brooks, and the fluttering wings of birds. One day, as Lily wandered through the forest, she stumbled upon a clearing where a chorus of birds perched among the branches, their melodies filling the air with a symphony of sound. Enthralled by their song, Lily closed her eyes and allowed herself to be swept away by the music of nature. As she listened, she felt a sense of freedom wash over her, as if the worries and cares of the world had melted away in the presence of such pure and unbridled beauty. She realized that in the song of the birds, there was a lesson to be learned, a lesson of letting go and embracing the present moment fully. With each note that soared through the air, Lily felt herself letting go of the burdens that weighed her down, allowing herself to be carried by the gentle rhythm of nature. She danced among the trees, her laughter mingling with the birdsong, her heart light and free. From that day forth, Lily carried with her the memory of the song of the birds, knowing that no matter where life took her, she could always find solace and joy in the beauty of the natural world. And though the challenges of life may come and go, the song of the birds would always be there to remind her of the freedom that comes from letting go and embracing the beauty of the present moment. In a land where mountains kissed the sky and rivers flowed with ancient wisdom, there existed a tale as old as time itself, the story of the strength of the boulder. It spoke of the unwavering steadfastness and resilience found in inner stability. Deep within the heart of the mountain range, there stood a solitary boulder, weathered by countless seasons yet unmoved by the passage of time. Its surface was rough and rugged, etched with the stories of centuries gone by, yet its core remained unyielding, rooted in the depths of the earth. Legend had it that this boulder held within it a power unlike any other, a power born from the unshakable stability found in the stillness of its being. For centuries, travelers and seekers alike would journey to the mountain in search of this legendary boulder, hoping to uncover the secrets of its strength. Among those who sought the boulder's wisdom was a young monk named Koji. He had heard tales of its power and was determined to discover the truth for himself. With nothing but faith and determination to guide him, Koji set out on a pilgrimage to the heart of the mountains. For days, Koji wandered through dense forests and treacherous paths, facing trials and challenges at every turn. Yet through it all, he remained steadfast in his purpose, drawing strength from the teachings of his ancestors and the wisdom of the land. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Koji arrived at the foot of the mountain where the legendary boulder stood. As he gazed up at its towering form, he felt a sense of awe wash over him, humbled by the sheer magnitude of its presence. With a steady heart and a clear mind, Koji began the ascent, navigating the rocky terrain with ease born from years of disciplined practice. Step by step, he drew closer to his goal, his determination unwavering despite the challenges that lay ahead. At last, Koji reached the summit, where the boulder awaited him in silent contemplation. As he approached, he could feel the energy of the land pulsating beneath his feet, a timeless rhythm that echoed the heartbeat of the earth itself. Placing his hands upon the surface of the boulder, Koji closed his eyes and breathed deeply, surrendering himself to the stillness that surrounded him. In that moment, he felt a sense of peace wash over him, knowing that he had finally found what he had been searching for. For Koji had discovered that true strength lies not in the might of muscle or the force of will, but in the unwavering stability found within the depths of the soul. Like the boulder that stood before him, he understood that resilience was not merely a matter of endurance, but a reflection of inner peace and steadfastness. And as Koji descended from the mountain, his heart filled with newfound wisdom and clarity, he carried with him the teachings of the boulder, the timeless reminder that true strength comes from within, rooted in the unshakable stability of the soul.